Have you ever built your whole identity on being a productive, go-getter type of person, and then one day you just can't? You hit a wall. And of course, you immediately start telling yourself you're lazy, that it's some kind of moral failing. But what if it's not? What if what you're feeling has nothing to do with laziness at all? Oh man, does this question sound familiar? You've got the to-do list, you know exactly what needs to get done, you might even want to do it, but you just can't. It feels like you're trying to turn the key in a car with a completely dead battery, and all the while that voice in your head is just screaming, "Come on, why are you being so lazy?" It's beyond frustrating. It's utterly exhausting just fighting yourself. Okay, so this is where we tend to get it all mixed up. We treat laziness and burnout like they're the same thing, but they are worlds apart. We frame laziness as a choice, right? An unwillingness to do something. But burnout? That's not a choice. It's a condition. It's not about being unwilling to act, it's about being unable to act. One is about your character and the other is about your physiology. And that difference is everything. So, if the real culprit here isn't some character flaw called laziness, then we need to look at another suspect. So let's get properly introduced to the real issue that's likely at the heart of all this exhaustion: burnout.
So what exactly is burnout? Well, think of it as a state of total system depletion. Your energy, your focus, your ability to handle your emotions, think of all that as fuel in a tank. Prolonged, over-the-top stress is like trying to drive cross-country without ever stopping to refuel. Eventually, you don't just choose to pull over. The engine just sputters and dies. It's not a lack of will, it's a lack of resources. Simple as that.
So, how can you tell if this is what's going on with you? Well, burnout leaves some pretty clear footprints. First, it almost always shows up right after a long period of being intensely overproductive. This isn't about someone who avoids hard work. It's about the person who has worked way too hard for way too long. Second, it doesn't just feel like a mental block. It feels like a full-on biological shutdown. Your body and brain are slamming on the emergency brakes. And finally, it's fueled by chronic long-term stress. We're not talking about one bad week at work. We're talking months, maybe even years of constant pressure. So what is actually happening in your brain when this shutdown occurs? Because it's not just a feeling, you know? It is a very real biological process. And believe it or not, your brain is actually trying to protect you.
So it all starts with this guy, chronic stress. Look, a little bit of stress, acute stress, can be useful. It's like the fire alarm going off. It gets you moving, gets you to safety. But what if that alarm just never turned off? Days, weeks, months of that constant blaring noise. That's chronic stress. Your body's alert system gets stuck in the on position, and that has some serious consequences.
Right, so that alarm, ringing nonstop, floods your system with the stress hormone cortisol. And after a while, your brain just can't handle it anymore. It's completely overwhelmed. So to protect itself from permanent damage, it starts a shutdown sequence. This is what we can call the cortisol hangover. Your brain literally flips a switch and goes into a power-saving mode. It dials way down on all the non-essential functions, like motivation, focus, and planning. Let this one really sink in for a minute. That feeling you've been calling laziness, it is actually a highly sophisticated biological act of self-preservation. Your brain is not failing you. It's not giving up. It is protecting you from a system that has been dangerously overloaded for far too long. It's a feature, not a bug. Okay, so now we get the biology, the how. We understand the cortisol hangover. But that brings up a much deeper question, doesn't it? Why? Why do we push ourselves that hard in the first place? Let's dig a little deeper and investigate the root cause. I mean, really think about it for a second. Is it just about the deadlines and the ambition? Or is there maybe something else going on under the surface? For so many high achievers, that relentless, nonstop drive to be productive, it's not really about achieving more. It's about avoiding something else entirely.
And there it is. This is the absolute core of it. So often, just being busy is the most effective and socially acceptable way to run from our own difficult feelings. Think about it. If you're working 14 hours a day, you don't really have time to feel lonely, do you? If you're constantly checking things off a list, you can temporarily silence that little voice that whispers you're not good enough. Productivity becomes our shield.
And this creates such a vicious cycle. Let's just walk through it. Step 1. You feel something painful. Maybe it's inadequacy, maybe it's loneliness, maybe just a feeling of being out of control. Step 2. To escape that feeling, you bury yourself in work. You become overproductive.
Step 3. This constant hustle puts your body into that state of chronic stress. The alarm bells are always ringing. And then finally, step 4. The whole system just overloads and you crash. Your brain hits the brakes, initiates that power-saving mode, and you're in burnout, unable to do a thing. So let's circle all the way back to where we started. That feeling that you've been labeling as lazy. Now that we've looked at all the evidence, I think it's time for the final verdict.
Burnout is not a sign that you are weak or lazy or a failure. Not at all. It is a distress signal. It's a message from your mind and your body that you have been pushed way, way past your limits for too long. It's basically the check engine light on your car's dashboard. And you wouldn't get mad at the light, right? No, you'd look under the hood to see what's actually wrong. So I'll leave you with this thought. For years, maybe your whole life, the question you've been asking is, how can I be more productive? But what if that's just the wrong question? What if the real question, the one that actually helps you heal, is this one right here? What am I trying to avoid?